working, aims.
We should be good.
Should be good.
We should be chilling. Yes, sir.
All right, so we're a little late on this one. We were like, yeah, we're gonna make an episode, then we're gonna make another episode, and then you flew across the country, and then we kind of just. We're here now, though.
It's a new year. It's a new year, and we're back again. That's what matters. But we did. I took a little hiatus. But I was in Arizona, and then got surprised plane tickets to Las Vegas. Went gambling, little wheeling and dealing down there in Nevada. But it was a fun time, yeah. And then we're back again, start of the new year. So let's do it with another podcast.
We're gonna hope this one's a little bit better than the last one.
Hey,
the first half's probably gonna suck just as bad, but.
No, we got some good topics in this one. We kind of planned this one out. We kind of wanted to think about things we could talk about just in the last 5 minutes. Let's brainstorm some topics to talk about. And, yeah, we got some cool things to discuss this episode. I think it'll be good to get into.
Playing better than the last one. The last one, camera broke. And
hey,
camera broke. We talked about absolutely nothing. But
it's okay. It's all right to go off the rails sometimes, That's how you learn. You learn more from mistakes than you do from success, right? So that's another theme for this episode. We can talk about that at the end. You were talking about getting into time travel, though. You think time travel is possible? I was cleaning out my room because shit I had to do, and I found my old physics textbook. And for some reason, I didn't flipping through it because you always find weird shit in your room, and there was a section talking about time travel. I was like, this is totally possible. At some point, apparently, and I'm probably butchering this, but if you were to be able to get into a spaceship and shoot off into space, I believe it's either the speed of light or a little bit faster than the speed of light. If you get going that fast, right,
for a certain number of years in one direction, you're just going, and then you turn around and you come back. You'll feel like you've only been gone for like 2 years, but the Earth will have aged like 400.
Right.
So you can only go in the future, not the past. I think that's what it was.
I know that does make sense. I know that if you're like people on the space station, astronauts and whatnot, it's a marginal of what you're talking about in your terms, but they still age less than we do on Earth. Days for them are, what would it be? They're longer, right? No, I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess how would that work? Because it's the speed they're traveling. What do you?
They're probably traveling faster than
speed of light. Oh my God, 299,792,458 meters per second.
Elon Musk could do it.
Speed of light.
He could absolutely do that.
You think so? That's pretty quick, man.
I don't know.
Let's see. So I guess a normal 737. Typical Southwest plane goes like what?
700, 800?
Yeah, I would say. I think I checked on the app and we were cruising at like 680, like when I was flying from Arizona to St. Louis. And I think that might be. I guess that's the jet stream too. So either way, you're cruising at a pretty decent speed. But to get to 299 million.
All right. Keep this in mind though, yo.
That's insanely fast.
The Jets got to hold a decent number of people. We only got to get one.
Right.
We only got to get one. We can put them in a capsule. Well, actually, that would suck because you have to go for like a year, like at least. Being in that for a year, that would.
Right. I think the way to do it is like, have you seen the movie Avatar?
The one with the blue people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how they the scientists, like what they're doing, like they're like, they, came over and they're like conquering this new planet, right? But they were able to, like, I guess through like DNA and all that stuff, they were able to mimic like the life forms on that planet and then like transport their mind into that life form, like have their own like avatar or like little character in it, but it's in like the real planet. So it would be like if aliens could come here and like clone like a human and then send that human into our planet to do whatever that human is, whatever alien wants that fake human, cloned human to do. That's kind of the premise of the movie. But what my point is that to be able to time travel like that in space, you would have to have a way to like send your mind or your conscious into like an avatar body that like experience time differently than us, and then you could like preserve your body here to live longer than the typical 80 to 100 years that humans live, right?
Well, here's the thing. You say like the Avatar movie where they took like actual like DNA stuff like that. Doesn't Elon Musk already want to put people's brains in robots?
Well, he's doing the chip, what's the Neuralink.
Well, yeah, he's doing that with like the pigs and stuff. But I'm being like, wasn't he also talking about like having a computer that someone's consciousness could be loaded into?
Yeah.
Can you just send a computer?
So yeah, I guess that makes sense. So
Send a
it's just
computer
like
with someone's
it's just
head.
so strong of AI. It's someone's brain programmed into a computer. Yeah, that makes sense. And then you just send that computer off to space, and that's the
Yeah, and it could be super small, and you could probably get it to go that fast. I mean, it's a stretch to get it to go that fast,
But the person's body and brain itself are dead. Like that organ is deceased.
Yeah,
you would just send their thoughts. You would have a series of these questions, follow them through their life, look at every Instagram thing they clicked on, get an algorithm built so well about this person and their likes and their interests in this that you send that, and then that even like they're talking and like the inflection of their voice and everything through what we're recording, like they could take our voices and mimic them, right? So they then you send that version of you into a computer into space. That makes sense. I mean that makes enough sense now to where I could see that happening in the future. To actually send like a full on like AI like yourself like avatar into space. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't doubt it. That's crazy. Who knows what's out there, man? Like our little blip of the universe. Who knows? It's possible. Anything's possible, right? That's what I heard in kindergarten. I believed it ever since.
Anything's possible if you really believe in yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always under the belief of just like, it can't just be us. It's got to be something. But I say there's got to be something, but I either am not supposed to know or I shouldn't care enough to know what else there is.
Okay, hold on. I saw this on Twitter today. I want to see if it's somewhat credible, but Harvard professor said something about there being aliens, that he saw aliens. Harvard professor. So let's look at it. I saw it today. So Harvard professor.
Someone was talking to me. One of my
Aliens,
other
right.
friends was talking to me about how like Israelis apparently made contact with aliens or something.
This is Yahoo.com. I feel like that's New York Post, Business Insider. Pretty credible, at least news sources. They all wrote a story on this today. A Harvard professor has claimed in a new book that alien debris passed near Earth in 2017. It has attracted both skepticism and intrigue. Okay, so...
It's probably one of those super broad articles, though.
Yeah, but scientists in 2017 detected a first sign of intelligent life outside of Earth, according to a new book by Avi Loeb. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that last name right. A Harvard University professor. Scientists in Hawaiian observatory saw an object soaring through our inner solar system, moving so quickly that it could only have been from another star. Okay, so I mean,
So I'm probably reading into this wrong, but does that mean if just something's going real fast, it just can't be natural? Someone definitely.
Well, here's the thing.
The aliens have cartoon cannons, and they're just firing things into space.
If we track like asteroids and meteors that fly by our planet and the speed that they're going, you see something flying faster than that. My understanding, when you like, my theory understanding from what I've heard in my life, like how aliens would perfectly affect like time travel and gaining speeds rapidly to fly like that fast to fly the speed of light is not through like propulsion or air systems, but through gravity or magnetism. One of the two. You fly through both gravity and magnetism, or just gravity, and you can search everything, every molecule down to our like biological levels has some sort of gravitational pull, that to combine to each other. Like everything from the molecules we're made up to the sun that holds everything with us in one spot, right? So, and that's like probably like that for us, just like it might be for the galaxy, however many light years down the road. But if there's however many light years down the road, if you could just pull out a mass in space and say, I want to travel here, and instead of like shooting something off to travel there, if you could just somehow connect like gravity like a magnet, you could use gravity and go like a magnet to it. And that would be the way, and then that's how you bend space-time, so that's how you don't age. You can go boom, 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 because it doesn't take time to get there. You just, boom, in a little port, and then that's how you can do that without, does that kind of make sense now? So like, Do you kind of
It makes sense. Like if we simplified the most complex thing ever, yes, it makes sense.
I'm not saying that is like feasible at any in my lifetime or anything else, but I'm saying, hey, if we're gonna be dead by 30, these are the thoughts we gotta have, right? We
Someone
gotta
make that happen, or we're gonna do it first.
I mean, you know, it's a straight line is.
I don't even know how to fix my car, dude.
Yeah, me neither. My transmission falls out. I'm like, shit. You know, I can put windshield wiper fluid in. I can change a headlight. I can do brakes. I could probably do a tire if I had to. I'd have to have a jack. I have a jack upstairs, but I have to have it in my car. So who knows? If I'm on the side of the road, call AAA. You know, you're good. Anyways, but space travel, bro. It's insane.
It's possible. I'm gonna say right now it's possible.
Listen, and I would.
Well, space travel we know it's about. Time travel, I'm saying, it's definitely possible.
I would rather be a believer in it than like a hater of it, because there's no reason to that's just so simple-minded. If you think it can't be done, then it never will be done, right? So why not believe in it? Why not want it to be there, and why not want that for us in the future? That'd be sick, right?
Yeah,
and
And then when we're dead at 30, they can just like take our bodies and like revert time, and then we're back.
Right.
And then we live past 30.
That's how the world works, man. It's crazy to think about. So think about an ant, just like a school of ants walking on the sidewalk, and you're a human, right? And you're out there watering the garden, and they're just walking on the sidewalk, and you step 2 feet away from them, and they're still just doing their thing. They have no idea you're there. You could go put your hand like 3 inches over their head, and they'd probably have no idea that you're doing anything. What if like we're the ant in our little planet called Earth, and we just don't know? Horton Hears a Who kind of shit, I mean,
our entire planet is on a flower floating somewhere, and we don't know.
Not the point. The point is.
Yeah, I know that's not the point.
Yeah, no, I get it, but yeah, it's all possible, right? But to think that we know, I mean, you want to know so badly, though.
This is really off topic, but since you mentioned Horton Hears a Who, you know that one character from Horton Hears a Who named Sally?
Maybe.
The one with the giant eyes that just go like sideways, and she just makes that one annoying noise and falls over all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've met so many people in my life that remind me of that character, and I think I've only seen that movie one time.
Who reminds you of that character? Can we name names? Or
Can we name names? Well, I'm just... Alright, it was mainly just a few people that would walk around my high school, and then you would try and have a conversation with them, and it would be like exactly that, just nothing. Nothing. As if you're talking to a brick wall, but even worse, because at least the brick wall isn't annoying as hell.
At least it doesn't say anything.
Yeah, it's like I'd rather have you say nothing back than say the things that you said.
We all know people that are duds, but some people.
Those can be the ones we can send to space.
No, fuck it.
The expendable. All right, yeah. I did actually. Fun fact: one of my first dreams that I told. I was partly joking, partly not joking when I would tell people this, but I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be the first Croatian to kill himself in space. that was gonna be my dream.
I feel like that's feasible. Let's just get like 3 hot air balloons and just duct tape you to the bottom of it. You could go kill yourself in space.
Yeah.
Think about that. You could easily get up there high enough to where it's called space. You're just seeing. I mean, you probably suffocate before you get to like shoot yourself. And you pass out like at what, probably 25,000 feet.
Yes,
maybe. I mean.
But I got that idea because apparently, I don't know how true this is, but a lot of Croatians have killed themselves in very interesting places. Like if you just like look online, you'll find like there's a guy, he killed himself like 25,000 feet below sea level or something. He got stuck in an underwater cave because undertow.
Croatian suicides.
And he had like nowhere to go, so he's just like, all right, I either drown or I kill myself. And he killed himself.
I spell suicide. I got it. That's crazy. So
you better know how to spell by 30.
Yeah, my handwriting's terrible.
Actually, we won't need to. Eventually we can just.
I just talk into my phone and everything pops up.
Yeah, exactly. Eventually we won't even need school. Actually, we don't need school now.
We do
survive.
need school.
I could survive without school.
No, education's great.
Nah,
Oh, he's a general in the army?
I don't know. I didn't read into the story.
He died in 2017.
This was.
I don't know how to say this name. But I'm not even
Don't even bother butchering
It
it.
says Bosnian Croatian.
He probably a bit of both.
Okay. He was a Bosnian general who served in the Croatian army and the Siberian president. Okay, I don't know how to say these names, but okay, well, I can't find Croatian suicide rate. Hold on.
Well, we're not even talking about the rate. I'm sure, like, it isn't like 40% of Croatians kill themselves in some obscure location. I'm sure that's not a trend.
Right.
It's just, I've seen enough of those articles to be like, wow, why are my kind of people just popping up?
Honestly,
kind of things.
if you're gonna go out, you might as well go out with something cool. You know what I mean?
Or it depends on your perspective. Because there are like a lot of people in Japan that all pick that one forest.
Oh yeah, well Japan's like that's a big like
Well, they're
die
very-
with honor, right? It's like it's honorable to die, like it's like
I don't think the wording is honorable to die. I think it's honorable.
sometimes I know like back in the day like they would take like the samurai sword and like
Yeah.
instead of letting someone else like defeat them or kill them, they would
Yeah,
do
but
it to
that's in
themselves.
war. Like usually they would
That's
have
tradition through history,
one
yeah.
guy with a sword, and so it would usually be a general because they know they'd probably be captured.
right.
You know, they do one of those, and then
Oh.
another guy would take off their head to make sure that they're dead. But it'd usually just be generals that did. Of course, there were soldiers that did it too,
Yeah.
but usually just be generals because they know they'd be captured.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, think about that. Kamikaze pilots, that's all Japan too. Like,
Yeah.
your mission is to, I mean, that's, but that's what I'm saying. Like that, death is kind of honorable to them, and it's like it's doing death in the military at least, like serving. I mean, anywhere it obviously is, to an extent. If you're serving our country, I mean, that's the highest. That's,
Honestly, like, World War II, that was so many years ago.
right.
It would be so interesting because I've never been to Japan. I don't think I know anybody who's Japanese. I haven't really studied like their culture outside of like that time period and like the samurai time period.
Right.
So it'd be so interesting to just kind of have an in-depth look of like how their perspective as a country changed from like the end of the Second World War to like now.
Yeah. That would be cool. I mean, I'm sure.
Because I'm sure there's like a huge perspective change, like with the change in government, technology, like all kinds of stuff. Because I'm sure the United States definitely had that.
Yeah, I think obviously, I mean, you think about it, when it was 1940s, but that's not that far off. Like our generation's like the first generation that wasn't like directly related to that, because like your parents, that was the generation before you, they probably knew their grandparents who fought in those wars. So that's not too bad. Your I knew my grandparent. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, I mean, my parents are baby boomers, so.
Right. Yeah. I mean.
My grandfather wanted to serve, but he enlisted in every single branch, and none of them would take him.
Really.
Yep, none of them would take
He
him.
had some like health. It's like some like flat feet or some like weird stuff.
They
like
would
that.
turn people away for the weirdest stuff. You know why
Yeah.
they turned him away?
Why?
He had an overbite.
Really?
He had an overbite, and it was so bad that he couldn't fit in a gas mask. So they didn't take him.
Yeah.
So he said he wanted to serve his country so bad he became a postman, and
Hey, that's
he gave out mail instead because he wanted to work for the government during that time, and he lived through the Depression. He lived through.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what my real dad and my real mom, they're both mail carriers, post office. They met my grandma and grandpa on my dad's side. My dad's mom and dad were both mail carriers, and then my grandma worked with my mom and said, "Hey, my son's a mail carrier and he works down here. You should, And then they met, and then they had me, and then now here I am. That's how my life happened for them. Anyway, but yeah, that's it's crazy. So
This is just gonna be the whole theme of the episode. Just time.
just time.
Just time in general.
Yeah, going back in time.
I'm telling you, we'll never be able to go back, but I think we can go forward.
You don't think we'll be able to go back? I guess that would probably be harder to do, wouldn't it?
Well, if we could ever go back, wouldn't we know? Because someone would have come back.
then you're talking about different, whoa. Because then you're talking about different like wavelengths of time, right? You're talking about different timelines of time. You're talking about like if you and I like really could have.
Well, are there different timelines?
Bro, who knows? Is there reincarnation? Do you
I know there's different dimensions.
Yeah, well there has to. Yeah, there is.
Because the first dimension is what, lines?
The straight line.
Yeah, right. The second dimension is shape, so it's like length and width.
Connecting.
And then the third is 3D, length, width, height. And then the fourth dimension, I don't know exactly what it is, but I know it's impossible to comprehend it because we live in the third one.
So you can't jump a dimension. You can understand.
You can understand
3, 2, and 1.
So like the people in the third dimension can understand the second dimension, shapes.
Right.
But if you're in the second dimension, you can't understand the third.
But you can understand the first.
But you can understand the first.
Because that's what your world's made up with, is the first
Yeah.
and second.
So you can understand what your world is made up with and what, I guess, simpler worlds are made up with, but you can't understand. So I know, well, I can't say I know the fourth dimension exists because we don't. Everything is just theories are stupid. Is what it comes down to.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean.
Well, I can't say theories are stupid because it's like theories is what you have to ask the question to get anywhere. So I guess I can't say that, but
they're not. Some of them are stupid, but some of them. The thing is, you can't say anything is a wrong idea, to an extent. There's blatantly wrong things to say, but there's some things like, I mean, scientists back, in the Enlightenment era and stuff, they were all turned away. A bunch, all scientists were treated poorly, that their ideas were wrong against like the religion, against the church. So, to think that theories are stupid today, obviously there's theories that are stupid, but there's also like, maybe that's a part of it too. Maybe that theory not all of it's correct, but there's a little bit of element that you can add to this one to make this theory even better. Maybe that's, who knows. Theories are. I have a friend at Missouri S&T. He's a SIG Pi. Austin Roberts. Shout out to Austin Roberts. He missed that kid, but he's a SIG Pi at S&T, and he's taking mathematical theories in his junior year of college. He was in their what was their program called? Aeronautical engineering? I don't know. It was some space engineering. I don't know the program exactly what it's called, but he built a satellite that they sent into space. Don't send pictures down to his phone, and they the computer engineers built an app that they all download their phones to get the pictures back on it. So he built the spaceship to send it into space, and then his friends got that pictures from their satellite on their phones because they built the app and he built the satellite. And that's pretty cool. That was like their class. That was his semester, a year-long class. Was just building a satellite and send it to space.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's cool. That's so cool. But that's the whole. I want to talking to him about it though. He's got to believe in aliens too. Even someone like that's got to believe in aliens if they're devoting their life to sending things into space.
Probably thinks something's interesting up there.
Right. There's a reason why he's so intrigued in going into that profession. He's like, I'll never work a day in my life doing that. Touche to him. That's awesome. That's gotta be one of the coolest things.
See, I wish I had an interest like that, because they say you can't choose your interests choose you, that sort of thing. You ever heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jeff Bezos or something said that.
Right.
And I was like, I wish you could though, because right now I don't have that job where it's I wake up every day and it's this isn't even work. I would do this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I don't know if you have something like that, but I really don't.
Yeah.
But if I could just be maybe this in the future too, if I could transport my consciousness to a computer for a few seconds, make me absolutely love reading. Because I hate reading. But if I could make myself love reading, man, you know how much smarter I'd be?
Yeah, that is true. Hey, every millionaire's house has a library in it.
Well, yeah, it's the whole quote of don't trust anyone whose TV's bigger than their bookshelf.
Yeah.
So then again, nowadays everybody's TV's bigger than their bookshelf.
That is true.
Except for those people on top.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, reading.
Well, then again, we can't even say that because there's some people that get on top from
But that's why I kind of like podcasting.
I danced in front of a camera for 30 seconds and now I got 8 or 9 mil.
What? That's the craziest thing. TikTok stars, imagine. Imagine I saw a clip yesterday.
I'm tempted to just make a TikTok and just make one video dancing, just hopes it's like a lottery thing.
Dude, you gotta be a 17-year-old hot girl. That's the way to do it.
Specifically 17-year-old.
It's completely messed up. That's why, like, I mean, not why, but like, you know.
Well, you can't hate it though, cause like you
no,
can't.
I mean,
it's like, what are you gonna do about it? Like, you can't hate it.
Hey, listen,
it's like the girls that make a bunch of money from doing like, well, I don't think porn stars make a lot of money, but like Twitch girls and like shit like that. Like, you can't hate it because it's like there's a demand for it and then they fill it. You know what I mean? Like, if guys are really gonna be that, you know, or they, like, and that's what they do. Hey, you know, that there's a market. There's a market and you fill it. That's what it is. That's why you can't hate it. But at the same time, it is kind of like, I can't do that because, you know. But.
Right. I mean, and you think there's, I guess, I'm not really into the whole girls on Twitch game, but I guess I'm assuming there's probably girls that might wear, you know, not wear a certain outfit for subs or anything else, but I'm sure there's like creepy ass dudes in their chat saying stuff, and it's just so it's not like they don't know about it, but the fact that it's those guys that are in there saying that, and just if a girl is on an internet platform streaming a video game or doing like something that's more male dominated, she still shouldn't like have to deal with stuff like that either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that sucks for her. But maybe there's girls that are like, oh, well, okay, all I have to do is just, you know, do this and just wear a low-cut shirt and I just get some subscribers because of that. Like, you know, but hey, like you said, if there's guys that are fucking that gross that want to sit there and pay for that, and she's, you know, and she's making money, and she's smart, she's the smartest one in that whole transaction, so good for her. You know, I mean, but yeah, it's just a weird thing. TikTok was weird. I know you don't know Toby. Do you know Toby? He was living in, he was in Brown last year, but he showed me TikTok originally, and he was just showing me like all these like, you know, accounts of like these creepy ass dudes commenting on like young girls posts. He's like, dude, have you seen TikTok? It's like the pedophile website, and I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, what the fuck does that even mean, the pedophile website?
Yeah. And
then he showed it to me, and I was like, oh, kind of. It's like, he's like, it's the new Vine, but look, it's all just like creepy dudes commenting on girls, and I'm like, well, maybe it's just only what you look at. I was like, you know,
have you explored the entire site?
Yeah, I was like, maybe that's just popping up because you are just like so worried about only that you just keep watching that, like, the stupid stuff.
And so they recommend it to you more.
Yeah, I'm like, did you try like Googling puppies or soccer? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I mean, either way, hey, Instagram girls, all that stuff, it's a business now, you know, that's, yeah. I feel like, I mean, if you're a company and if you're a smaller company, you're trying to sell like your bathing suit or your t-shirts or your pants or your shorts or your even modeling stuff nowadays, like, if you're a retail store like JCPenney, you know, American Eagle, your Instagram account, your Twitter account probably do just as much, if not more, advertising than your sign in the mall. You know, but probably more advertising on the internet, twice as much, 3 times as much than your sign anywhere at a location. You know, so.
And it's weird because like you can't. Like, it's weird because there's like so many sides to any argument you could possibly have, because like I totally understand the argument of like, you know, business is business, so you know, like everybody's known since humans have been around that sex sells.
Mm-hmm.
It does, and it's like, I think, I don't know if we can all agree, we probably can't all agree, but we can all agree that like we wish it did. You know what I mean?
Wish it did or didn't?
Did not.
Did not.
Because it's like, you know, we really want to see half-naked chicks everywhere. I guess, depending on the person, but I mean, like, I don't want to, like, scroll through the internet and that's, like, all I see. Like, you know, there's a time and a place for that.
Right.
And so it's like, I don't know, because, you know, you have the business side where it's like, you know, we see a market and we're filling it, you know. Because this is a great quote that I got from the people I work for. They were like, in life, cheat. Because if you're not cheating, then everybody else is, and you're just one step behind every single time. And
Right.
you can do that with school, or use that analogy in school where it's like, if you're not cheating on the test, like that's fine. If that's not what you want to do, but like 20 of the students are.
Right.
So if you get a lower grade than them, are you really gonna raise your hand and knock them for cheating? It's like, no, you could have too, you just didn't.
Yeah, you're not gonna snitch on them for doing it. You're just gonna.
Yeah, you just miss out.
Yeah, you miss out.
And that can really apply to everything, because it's like, from a business standpoint, you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna take the moral high ground, and I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna use, sexuality to sell my products, or I'm not gonna do this, or I'm not gonna do that. From a moral standpoint, like, congratulations.
Yeah.
But you're basically doing exactly what the one kid that's not cheating is doing. You're not cheating, but everybody that is ahead of you, and you can't knock them for it.
Right.
So it's like, oh, I'm going to take the moral high ground, I'm not going to do these things. Oh, but now I'm being outgunned by all these other companies.
Okay, do you remember the Wendy's commercials back in the day? It was a Wendy's girl, or it was a...
No, you're talking about Hardee's.
Hardee's, yeah.
Hardee's, and Hardee's got in a lot of trouble for that.
I know, but they were always on. But like, here's the thing: it was a commercial that if I was like watching TV with my mom, it would make me uncomfortable to watch TV with my mom.
A lot.
But it wasn't like I didn't like enjoy it, like to an extent. But did it
being like a 14-year-old kid or something like that?
Okay, but yeah, like when a 14-year-old Tyson saw some girl dripping barbecue sauce on her titties, he's like, okay, that's cool. I'll look at that. It's on TV, nice. But it made me uncomfortable in front of my mom, and also it never made me go to Hardee's. I haven't eaten Hardee's ever in my life. That commercial didn't do anything for me. You know what I mean?
You have to keep in mind that like every business has a target market.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you walked into Hardee's, you would be like, yeah, these are exactly who those commercials were for.
Right. Yeah.
And like I've met guys like that. It's the same guys that. Sorry for anyone at home that eats at Hardee's, but it's the same guys that like go to Hooters on Christmas. Like, why do you think Hooters is open on Christmas? Think about it though. Why do you think Hooters is open on Christmas? Because you have like these people that don't have families, and so they're just
sad, lonely men.
They're just sad, lonely. Yeah. And that's who the commercials were for. And is it bad? Not really. That's back to the moral standard and business standard.
It's not bad. I mean, I don't think that's bad. The fact you can go, there's worse places than that. I mean, that's the thing. There are still advertisements out there for clubs and all different kinds of things. Even that you OnlyFans. If I watch a YouTube video about a new crossbow that I'm gonna buy, and then I have a video. I had an ad the other day for it was like kings and queens, and it was like you get to be a king, and you go to these like, it was like all I did was watch the 10-second or 15-second YouTube ad that made me watch the whole 15 whatever, and it was just this phone app where you were like a king, and you get to go around and pick up strippers, and you're like their pit boss. And I'm like, who's gonna sit?
A phone app?
Yeah, okay. I'm like, why is this getting recommended to me? I'm like, who's gonna sit here and play this game? I'm like, who's just gonna sit here and be a little like, and then just see like these little anime like titty girls on their phone, and they get to like tell them like to set up jobs for them or whatever that you did on the, I don't even know. But people I guess sit around and do that. I guess, right? Wouldn't like how's YouTube making ad money off that if that game doesn't get downloads or something, right? Like,
well, how YouTube ads work is, for the big players, like if there's a huge company, they're not gonna pay that much attention, so they're basically gonna tell YouTube, it's like, okay, here's the amount of ads I want, here's the money for those ads, go find me videos where more people will see my ads, and then YouTube will take care of that.
Right.
It'll use its, software or whatever, that's algorithm to choose videos to advertise on. And that's why, people were complaining about the YouTube algorithm, because apparently it was making people not have ads that deserve to have ads and so on. The big players that will advertise on. But if you're a little guy and you can't afford to put out multiple ads, you can only put like one at a time, you probably have to go in and like manually pick out like, okay, where am I gonna put this ad?
Right.
You pay the money, you put the ad on like the videos that you want to put the ad on, and so you're targeting a very so with those mobile ads, they're targeting people that are impressionable. So if you're watching a video that's for all ages, they're probably targeting, that younger, impressionable age, like a 13, 14-year-old guy that's just like discovering what sexuality is, and then he chooses it. And is it predatory? Yes.
Yeah.
Because, especially when, you're talking about people too young to really have like a debit card, where they're getting all their money from. They're getting money from their parents. And so that opens up that whole debate of like, is it the parents' fault that the kid takes their money, or is it, predatory advertisements? And then it's like that whole, well, businesses are just doing business, they can't directly control who watches their ads, but then there's also an obvious targeting of who they're targeting their ads to, and then there's the responsibility of the parent. And so that's just a debate that, we can get into and talk about for hours, and you just never know.
I feel like all of that boils down to the responsibility of the parent.
You think so?
I think that you can't tell. I mean, I don't know. I'm anti, all rules and stuff like that.
You're very, very anti.
Not anti, but I'm saying like, there's obviously morals and everything, no doubt. But if I'm Hardee's and I have some girl in a Daisy Dukes on and wearing like a flannel sports bra that's like tied up like a Twin Peaks looking girl, and she drops some barbecue sauce on her upper like collarbone mid chest and it shows a little bit of cleavage. I mean, like okay, so little 14-year-old Tyson sees that. I can take away that barbecue sauce fell on her, but if my parents, I mean, it's gonna happen in life. Like, you can't be that sheltered, my parents, I was fortunate enough, the quicker I learned about it, it kind of helped me have a more well-rounded perspective on everything earlier on, because I was never sheltered from things. I was just exposed and taught how to deal with things. And if you're sheltered from things, like my friend, God love him, but Jack Saputo, right? His mom, like in high school, well, if Jack's not home by 11 o'clock, like, you guys are in big trouble, And you just kind of want to, that's how his parents were, and it was cool. I still love hanging out with him. It was a good time, but like, I'm like, yeah, I could probably text my mom at like 2 a.m. saying, hey, I'm staying at Holden's house, and she probably wouldn't care, like, I just like, hey, mom, I'm just gonna be at Holden's tonight. Okay, cool, I'll see you in the morning. Okay, cool. That simple.
And I agree totally in the fact, like, my parents were the exact same way. Like, my parents are some of the most relaxed people of all time. Like, I could probably stay here. We can record this podcast for 6 hours, and I can come home at 3 a.m. and they wouldn't care.
Right.
But, my thing about that is, like, I'm all for the fact that, like, it's the parents' responsibility to watch, like, what their kid's doing. Like, my only thing that I think is on the business side is that, like, people, like, I don't agree with people's parenting practices if they're super strict. Like, I don't agree with raising a child strictly. I just don't agree with that.
Yeah.
But, I can't take away people's rights that decide to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, when I'm talking about businesses, it's like I wouldn't mind if my kid saw one of those commercials. Like, who cares? Like, he's gonna, just like you said, he's gonna figure out either way. Who cares if the first time he saw an attractive woman was on a Hardee's commercials?
I know, I'll be looking like, he watched that, right? He watched that.
Well, yeah, you start to learn things about your child.
Right.
But
that's the,
if there's a parent that simply doesn't agree with us or doesn't believe the way we do, in my opinion, they should have the right to do what they want, as much as I disagree with it. And so then there comes the problem of, like, okay, could a parent have the ability to eliminate advertisements from advertisers that choose to advertise like that? And the thing is, they can't on TV.
Well, I mean, you have...
And you can't on YouTube.
No, YouTube for kids.
Yes, but also, like, say a kid wants to watch a video, like, say he's like a young teen, but you have a super strict parent.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, he's not going to be on YouTube for kids, because YouTube for kids has only, kids content on it. Like, not something that a teenager would want to be watching.
Right.
Like, a teenager probably want to watch, like, your crossbow video. Like, a video of a dude shooting a crossbow, pretty much harmless, but a teen's probably going to be wanting to watch that.
Right.
But if you got a strict parent and they don't want certain... I know it seems so weird from our perspectives because we were raised differently, but I know of friends of mine that have this problem of like super strict parents. And we see it as a problem, and that's so weird, kind of like taking yourself out of your own world and throwing it into someone else's and trying to like process the logic behind it.
It is.
It's very hard, but like you kind of have to in order to be fair.
I don't think that's fair. I think that's their parents' lack of security about their lives, and they think that they're going to do a terrible job at raising their own children, or that their children are going to be too bad at people that they're not going to be proud of them. And the way to make them exactly what they want is to shelter them from the things that are, quote, bad for them. But really, the fault of not exposing them to the bad things in life then the line of the good things versus the bad things in life isn't as clear. And then they go through life probably more mediocre than if they knew what was right from bad, because they've seen bad and they've seen good and they chose to do good. And I think that the only way to do that is by exposing them more.
And yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah. I 100% agree with that. And well, then you get into this whole conversation of like, I agree with that, and ideally that would be what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But for people that don't share that opinion, then we have to be like, okay, what matters more to us? That idealistic situation, right, or the idea of freedom that we value so much? Because like if we have the freedom to want to live like that and live like that, cool. But if they want to live,
but that's not that's not true, because then you're limiting the freedom of the business to make that ad. You're limiting the freedom of the girl to make money from that ad. You're limiting the freedom of me to be entertained by the ad and maybe go get a Hardee's burger. And if you're the parent, you have the ability to show your kid that because you can turn off the TV, or you can go turn on Nickelodeon, or you can not watch that channel in front of your kids, or you can only watch your late night Law and Order shows when you're with your husband or by yourself instead of when your kid's watching. Or you can just not let your kid get the remote, put it on a shelf where he can't reach it. Do something like that. It's not that hard, and it's not the fault of someone else. That's not stripping away. You have the freedom to live in your own house and have your own TV and have your own kid and have your kid watch your TV. You have those freedoms. So because you have those freedoms, you can't limit the freedom of business to portray an ad on that TV. When there's TV ratings, you know what's on the TV, you know your kid's watching it. Turn on something else. There's plenty of streaming platforms. Turn on Disney Plus and see if he sees a titty on there. It'll be fine. It just do something like that instead. And there are those options. So you can't. And at the end of the day, I think if there's a market for it and it's a free market, then let it be. And
with most, like 99% of what you said, I totally agree with. Like, business should have the right to advertise however they see fit.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a market for it and they can fill it a certain way, let them fill it. That's what doing good business is.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, to what extent? It always comes down to a spectrum. It's like, to what extent? How far does the envelope push before like, you can't do that? So what I'm saying is like, those Hardee's commercials, they got taken down, didn't they?
Well, but they were still up for 6 months, maybe more.
But what my point is like
everybody saw it by the time they took it down.
Yeah. What I'm saying is like, the point is that, say we took it one step above those commercials, where you actually showed nudity. Would it be the right of the business to do that, or would that be labeled pornography, so it's too much? So now we gotta cut it there.
Okay, what about like a bra commercial, Victoria's Secret commercial that I see when I'm upstairs, and it's girls walking around with puppies and dancing in their bras or their lingerie. But they're dancing and having fun with other girls, and so then there's that, right?
Yeah.
That's okay, but because the girl's eating a cheeseburger and she dripped hot sauce right here, it's a bad thing.
Well, I agree with you there. I think there's probably. I think that came down to market analyzing, because that the target market for that Victoria's Secret commercial was girls, and then probably boyfriends wanting to see their girl in said lingerie.
Right.
Or just, horny dudes. But, the spectrum is younger. You see what I mean? It's probably like early 20s, something like that. That Hardee's commercial?
Yeah.
50-year-old men and up.
Well, yeah. I mean,
and so
yeah.
You analyze it like that. In reality, I could see that as being like unfair because it's like, all right, are we gonna treat older men different than the younger women and younger men, or are we gonna like, where is and that's the whole that's with every argument.
Dude,
it's like where is the line drawn?
If I was Hardee's, I just would have been like, I would have partnered with like a bra company, right? And just made like and then just had her not even in like Daisy Dukes and just in bra and panties on the top of, a truck or something. I'd partner with like Chevy, put her on the front of a Silverado, and just like have her eat a cheeseburger on the top of a truck, and but it's with Victoria's Secret, so it's like a bra commercial, right? So like that shows just because she's on and then it's a Chevy commercial, so she's on the truck kind of seductively. Well, you can't say anything about it because it's not just a Hardee's commercial, and it's all three of them combined, right? And that's just like.
And I've never seen anything like that, so I don't know if that's like some weird backwards loophole that you could take
hold on,
to make it legal.
I got something here, okay? So, we were talking about like, just like advertising and different things that you can put on the internet. So like, apparently, Conor McGregor is suing Jake Paul for slander because of the shit talking. The video he posted where did you see the video?
No, I have
You didn't see the Jake Paul video?
No, I did not.
Okay, so Jake Paul.
I know Jake Paul wanted to fight Conor McGregor.
Yeah, basically it was Jake Paul smoking a cigar with Ireland's flag, and he was like, come fight me. I'm 2-0 as a boxer. You're 0-1. Here's 50. My team's at $50 million. You sign the check, but whatever else. And then he's like, he started making fun of Conor's wife. What's her name? Evelyn or something. I believe that was something. Started making fun of his wife. Then he only followed like Conor McGregor's wife on Instagram.
Oh, like unfollowed everybody and then only followed her.
Yeah. So apparently Conor, I found it earlier, but Conor might be suing him for slander, which slander definition is just like it's a legal action.
Is it the whole like the freedom of speech versus slander, and then like
slander is the legal term for the act of harming a person's reputation by telling one or more other people something that is untrue or damaging about that person. Slander can be the basis for a lawsuit and is considered a civil wrong. So it's just a civil court. All it is just Conor saying, F you, I'm not fighting you, and also here, pay for these lawyers because I have that money to shit out and you don't. And that's what he's doing to Jake Paul for that video. Which, if that's true and Conor ends up going through with that means Conor's got a big puss. And I probably shouldn't say that Conor's going to come fight me, but, how much would it take for you?
Yeah, he's going to find a YouTube video with like 24 views on it and then go and decide that like, yes, we're going to go fight this guy.
Okay, but say this happened, okay? Well, what's your price to get in the ring with Conor McGregor?
Conor McGregor?
In the ring, not in the octagon, not the ring.
The octagon's even worse.
That's MMA, but like he's putting you in a Kimura and snapping your shoulder and your elbow at the same time. How much?
How much money?
Yeah.
It would have to. Well, first of all, it would have to cover my hospital visit.
Well, that's a given. Dana White's got that. He'll pay you. They'll fly you in the evac helicopter to the hospital. You're fine. That's all set up. Don't worry about how much it's gonna take to get you in the ring.
Okay, so is it set like my arm is breaking, or is it just set that
you can run around like a chicken? You can try to stab
for what? Does it for 1 round? Is it 1 round?
5 minute, dude. Does it matter?
Yes, it matters.
A 5 minute round.
5 minutes, 5 whole minutes. That's a long time, dude. There's no way I'm lasting. Okay, so if it was 5 minutes or 3 minutes, anything above 3 minutes, the outcome is the same.
Bro, he's like ding ding ding, and he's running right at you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hasn't he like knocked a guy out? Didn't he hold like the record for knocking a guy out like the fastest time?
I don't know.
It was like 7-second knockout or something crazy.
Might have been Khabib, I thought, for a little while. I don't know.
I know Khabib beat him.
I think there's guys that have like, in the second half, 3 seconds, like 2 seconds. Just a very marginal. Not even like that. Like some of them, like it's like 3 seconds, but they touched gloves, and then you know what I mean. So it's like okay, but then how does that equivalent? You know what I mean. So
yeah,
who knows? But there's a lot of. I'm sure Conor has one. I'm assuming he does.
But as far as price, at that point, time is pretty much irrelevant. I'm like, all right, so how much money would I accept to be knocked out cold? We'll just say that.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I'd be like, I would literally just tell him, like, don't break, just one swift
No, you're not telling him
knockout.
beforehand. Like, you only followed his wife on Instagram.
So I just have to take Jake Paul's position. Just get absolutely rocked. Because here's the thing, Jake Paul's a lot bigger than me.
Jake Paul's price was $50 million. I think I would do it for $50 million.
You get knocked out for $50 million?
Well, okay, Jake Paul is doing it boxing, but I'm saying MMA. So.
Oh yeah, I would do that easy. I would do it for less. I'd get knocked out for less.
Less than $50 million? Yeah, same. There's no doubt. I'd do it for a lot less than that.
Yeah. You heard it here first. Any professional boxer or MMA fighter that may be listening, we will absolutely get socked for a lot less than $50 million.
I think, yeah. I mean, if I was getting a boxing ring, if I'm doing boxing...
Imagine we get, like, added on Twitter, some, like... Like Mike Tyson's like, please, just one swift boom. I just want to hit. He's just mad, and he has so much money to piss away. He comes home and just sees this randomly.
I should see.
Oh yeah, I'll call him. Hey, dude, I'm pissed off right now. Come to my house. I'll pay you $2 million and clock a few teeth out. $2 million?
I was thinking. I think I'd let Conor McGregor get into the boxing ring with me for
boxing or octagon.
Boxing.
Okay.
Boxing. I think, dude, 200,000, 300,000.
You go that low?
Because, well, I'd have to go that low to get in there, right? That's the point. You know what I mean? I wouldn't, he's, you know. I think like if you like if I took one punch, you got $300,000. I think I could do that. Yeah, I mean, sure.
You know how hard that guy punches?
Yeah, but that's the thing. But that's kind of nice because then it's only gonna take one. You know, and maybe I could dodge a little bit. Maybe he just clips like right here and doesn't get full square chin, and maybe I get to keep my jaw.
I feel like if he's going to punch you, he's probably gonna punch you upper temple.
Yeah, either way, it don't matter. You know.
You know why don't you just do it for free? Do it for clout.
Yeah, and
do it purely.
Let's get this podcast for a few more subscribers.
All right. Conor McGregor, our payment is if you can get us 1 million subscribers, I will let you break my face.
Yeah. What if it was you and I? Like it was a Dead by 30 podcast versus Conor McGregor. It was you and I. Like I'm swinging on his neck and you're just out at his ankles. And I think we might be able to take him. 2 of us?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I think 2. You're probably right.
Hell no. Because here's the thing. He just needs to get down one of us, and then the other one's screwed. Yeah, so here's the thing. Yeah, if we get one miscalculation, and he lands a kick, one kick, or one punch on either of us, even if it's the body, one of us is out. Right. And then he has full focus attention on the other poor sap that didn't get the first kick.
You're right.
Like, I run in, and I get, like, kicked in the neck, and I'm out. And you're going to have to 1v1 one of the best MMA fighters.
How many of our friends, how many people? I think if it was me, you, my friend Jacob Buck, and what's one of your friends?
Probably Bryce, because he's the tallest.
Bryce. 4 guys versus Conor. I think we could do it. I think 4. I think 4 is pretty reasonable. I think 4 guys versus Conor. I don't know.
It's like we could totally do that, and
we should do this.
What do you mean,
bro? That'd be
who has Conor McGregor? Anyone back home? Comment Conor McGregor's number.
I want to just see
if you have it.
Yeah, I've always loved watching things like that, like with soccer and stuff, where it'd be like, there's a guy I watch, Tuscan TV. He's like this Brazilian guy from Brazil. He just like does like juggling videos where he like around the world and he does all kind of stuff. But his thing is he goes to he plays like street ball with people, and like it's a game you gotta play until you nutmeg the person. And sometimes he can like play against like 2 or 3 people and nutmeg all of them, and it's kind of like that. How many people would it take to something like that? But for fighting wise, how many of our friends would it take to be kind of?
Well, yeah, it's the whole idea of like skill versus numbers, which is that can be something that's in fighting, that's in war, that's in anything.
Yeah. And
you can see how both work. Like if you take like the Soviet Union for example, the Germans had like way better technology, and they had better trained soldiers, and they had better weaponry, and they had better everything. But what the Soviets had is bad weather and a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
Like just a lot of people, just tons. And so I think the same thing applies to fighting. It's like, all right, you have a guy of significant skill over you. And so a 1v1 isn't even a 1v1. His skill, will say, amounts to 5 of your skills, so he could fight 5 of you at once.
Right.
You know, think about like Bruce Lee or like any of those guys. Like, I know if you've ever seen the Ip Man movies, I know they're completely fictional, but they're based on a real guy.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there's a story, I don't know if it's true or not, that he fought 10 guys at once and won.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, his skill was so good that it was worth 10 of just one of those guys' skills.
Right.
And so it's like,
So
all right, then you have to gauge, like, all right, how many completely unexperienced fighters worth of skill is Conor McGregor?
That's the thing, man. If we were fighting him, you only have to get lucky. Because, like, if he just catches my kneecap to his chin...
Here's the thing, he also knows how to take hits, though.
Mm.
He's been in the fighting game long enough to know how to take a hit as well as dish one out.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because, like, once I'm knocked once, I'm probably... I'm seeing stars, and then I'm black. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, boom, that's it. You know, just gone. And then... That's that he can probably take 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, 30, you know, 50.
Well, he could take quite a few from guys much bigger and stronger than us.
Yeah.
So he can take a whole hell of a lot more from just us.
Yeah, I know. It's impossible. We're never going to be able to. But I think,
we have to devise a plan to, A, get a fight with Conor McGregor, and 2, survive.
I think if you and I pulled 8 of our friends. 6,
so we've gone from 5 to 8.
6,
Oh, now we're down to 6. Okay.
Well, I mean 6 including us, so that's 8 total. 8 total guys. 8 guys versus Conor McGregor. I think we're winning. 8 guys. 8 full-on 21-year-old dudes versus Conor McGregor.
I'm not 21, but...
Well, whatever. Close enough. You know, I think, yeah. I think 8 guys wins for sure. Especially if they're somewhat coordinated and they're kind of like, they know what they're doing. You know? Like, you know. Well, I mean,
we probably spent just like 30 minutes just hypothesizing on how we would beat Conor McGregor.
Yeah, we did. Well, I mean, I wonder how long this episode has been. I don't know what time we're at.
Our rig is still very, very, like, basic, so we have no way of knowing
I hope I started
how long
the
we're
camera.
going.
No bullshit. I hope I started the camera. It's good chat.
Oh, God, this is going to be bad. Oh, it's going. We're good.
It's going.
We're good. Okay, we got to make sure. Has it even been facing us the whole time?
Yeah, it should be good, right? If not, hey, we got audio. You know?
We'll even leave that in just to prove everyone back
We're leaving
home.
this whole thing in.
So we're not going to cut this one. We had to cut the first one. We cut the beginning part out of us like fiddling with the camera, and then we just cut the part out where the camera just decided to die on us.
Died. We were using the camcorder over there. Yeah, we were using a camcorder. We're now on the iPhone 10 now, so I'm getting the iPhone 12. I think maybe before I go back to school, so we could start filming on that. I think that would be the next upgrade, tech upgrade that we get.
Yeah, because we're still broke college students. We can't afford an actual like full blown camera.
We'll get there. We'll get there. That's the plan. You know.
Also, I'm pretty sure I just looked at the time and it's like an hour 47. That's what we're at.
Hour 47.
Well, not past an hour 47.
I'm down to call it a wrap. I think
we called it a wrap. What we got? We had time travel. Something about.
Did we do New Year's resolutions?
Oh, we didn't. Yeah, we completely. We talked about New Year's like 30 seconds in, and then we never talked about it again. So we'll wrap it up with New Year's resolutions because it's, New Year's Day was only, 2 days ago?
Yeah, I haven't thought about New Year's resolutions until, like, this very moment. So we're going to spitball a few ideas, and then the next podcast we'll talk about what we're doing for sure. Like, we'll solidify. We'll have a podcast goal, whatever it is, New Year's resolution, like, work towards.
See, I've always hated New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, me too.
Because it just makes me feel like a failure. And I know I'm not in the boat. Everybody back home, you feel exactly the way I do.
Yeah, there's some things that you can better yourself. I mean, I think like over the year, 2020.
I'm sure there's people that have successfully done New Year's. I'm not saying they've never successfully done a New Year's resolution, right. But most people don't. That's why gym companies make so much money.
Yeah, well, fuck, they're all closed this time of year. So, yeah, let's hope for a better 2021. I think 2020 was probably the worst year of my life for sure. It was still good. There's a lot of good things about 2020.
Yeah, I'll give it second worst for me. I'll give it second worst.
It was maybe not like on a personal success level. I mean, it was still good. Like, you know, getting the RA job and doing stuff and maybe finish another semester of college.
Starting a podcast.
It was a good year for that. But like overall, just like the whole vibe of like society and the whole year, it wasn't fun.
Yeah, it was bad for people, but yeah, it really wasn't that bad for like me personally.
It is everywhere you look. There's something to feel bad about for someone. I felt like, and that was just the whole year, and it was just kind of, you know, obviously a lot of good things happened, and I think 2021 it's time for everybody just to, you know, stop giving up your freedoms, live your life, be healthy, take some vitamin D, some Tink, some turmeric. You know.
All right, well, enough of sad 2020. That's over. That is done with.
To 2021.
To 2020. I don't have a drink, but okay, 2021.
Cheers, water, baby.
The water. Okay.
Stay hydrated in 2021.
Is that resolution number one?
Yeah, resolution number one. Stay hydrated. You know, I drink 2 or 3 of these a day. You gotta pee a lot, but as long as your pee's nice and clear, that's all that matters. All right. Anyways, thanks for listening. It's been real, Matt. Another podcast.
I didn't say my resolution.
Fuck, I forgot.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
So your entire resolution is just gonna be drinking water? Is that how lame you're gonna be?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, fine. You know.
I'm soaked, bro. I'm soaked.
Well,
what's your resolution?
I have no idea. Again, I haven't thought about this till like now.
I mean, don't. My resolution's not to eat a bag of sunflower seeds like every other day, because my gums were fucked up in 2020. So I'm cutting back on sunflower seeds.
That's definitely a you problem.
Yeah, it really is.
I've never heard of anyone else with that problem.
I'm just looking I'm looking at the bag of David Ranch over there, and it's been making my mouth water this whole time. It's an addiction. Sunflower seeds, they're delicious though. So, but I'm gonna cut back on them. Gotta have a little bit of discipline in the sunflower seed department in my life.
Anyways. What do I need to change in 2021?
I got a good resolution.
What?
You're going to be a nice philanthropist in 2021. How about that?
Oh.
You like that? It's good.
Yeah.
Matt's a philanthropist now.
Yeah. I don't have enough money to feed myself, but hey, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think I want to be more assertive in 2021.
More assertive in 2021?
More assertive. I'm too laid back.
It's not a bad thing to be either, though.
Well, yeah, but you know, you don't want to be a pushover
as long as
either.
you can master both skills and use them accordingly.
That sounds better.
Yeah.
Master assertiveness. I don't need to be more assertive. I just need to be assertive when I need to be.
Exactly. Master the skill.
There's my New Year's resolution. Be more assertive.
I like that.
Do more stuff.
Dead by 30.
But yeah, I might as well be assertive now.
We got 9 more years.
Make a few enemies before you die.
We're in single digits. I am in single digits.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, am I in single digits?
Well, are you 10? You're at 10 or 11?
I turned 19 in 3 days.
Okay, so yeah. Well, I'm in single digits of years.
So I'm at 11.
Okay, well you got me beat by a little bit there.
Which, speaking of which, that means I lied in the first episode saying I'm 19. I'm not actually 19. In 3 more days and I'm 19.
So you're 18. Now you're gonna be 19.
Yeah, I'm such a child.
Well, we should get a birthday podcast filmed if we can.
Birthday podcast.
We'll talk about this after the podcast. Anyways. All right.
We're boring people at home. All right. Hopefully that video quality was better. It probably wasn't. Probably sucked even worse. We just stretched it out longer. But what is that? Hasta luego? Is that what it is?
Adios.